Now, can you touch the Zoom button at the very bottom?
Right here, this thing?
No, the Zoom, remember the video camera?
Right here.
Yeah, it'll take us back to the Zoom.
Is it there?
Just click on it or touch on it. We are live.
Okay.
Maybe I can do it.
It's coming up tasks.
All right, hang on. Let me see if
You got it?
Okay, there we are. That was like work. Hello, everybody. Hello and welcome to Gratitude Happy Hour. I'm so excited to be with you today. When you find this, please help us to share it out. To share it so we can get some people in here, because I want everybody to meet this wonderful couple that have become so important to me. I have known them only online, but I'm here in Sedona, and Keleena, Malnar, and William Melchizedek have taken me into their home and into their hearts, and I'm just so honored and happy to be bringing them to you today, because I want you to experience them and get to know them more. So welcome, both of you. Thank you. We're getting some people on. Thank you for finding us and helping us to share it out. And we want you to ask questions. We want this to be interactive. So as we explain more about Keleena and William and their mission and purpose in life and the services that they provide, we would love to hear any of your questions, any of your thoughts. Gratitude Happy Hour, it's all about gratitude. So I'm going to start with my gratitude. I'm so grateful to be in this place, Sedona, Arizona. It's a magical place, and it's part of the Peace on Earth tour that I've been on for almost 8 months now. And this is one of the highest experiences already, just coming into it. And being here a couple of days is one of the highest elevated experiences I've had. So my gratitude is for Sedona, and it's for this wonderful couple sitting beside of me, and for all of you who are joining in with us today. So I'm going to bounce the ball over to Keleena. What is your gratitude today?
My gratitude is to have you here.
Oh,
The angelic presence in our home. You know, it elevates another level of light. If that makes sense. So, but I also have lots of gratitude every day for just being here and allowing to be here as a, I'm going to say a guest of Gaia, because that's how I feel. Yes. And to be here and to be able to do our work and what we came here for. Yeah, I have gratitude for that. Yes. And all the experiences we go through on this journey. So, and I have gratitude for William being part of my life.
Thank you.
absolutely. And we want to hear more about that mission as we get into this. William.
Hello. My gratitude, first of all, goes to God, Goddess, and Spirit, and that has brought me here with my beloved Keleena, a beautiful Keleena. I'm very grateful that you're also here today, Teri, with your shining light and your beautiful blue eyes. Yeah, it's really special to meet you. I already felt a connection with you when we were through the internet, so it's really soul family. Yeah, my gratitude goes very deep to all it is. I can really bow down to the ground because I've lost things in my life and they came back in another form of way, especially in the spirit form. And the gratitude is never going to go away anymore. It's really deep into my heart. That's love and compassion. Yeah.
Yes. Gratitude, from what I experience and from what I know, it vibrates at the same energy as love. So when you're giving out gratitude from your heart, you're giving out love.
Yeah.
It's the same essence, the same vibration.
Yeah, the gratitude of that, first love, also for me in my experience, why God is alone and not lonely, but he is grateful, gratitude for that he's not alone, never alone is, so that there's God and Goddess and Spirit. And that's, for me, indeed, it's beautiful how you say that. why there's gratitude. That it's equal with love.
Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
it's beautiful.
And your thoughts on that, Keleena? And gratitude being the same as love.
Always. Te kia toshna mara santa grata kere te kia motu. Gratitude, love, and joy are with us eternally. Teri Angel kurtashnarase. Amarite yendo muhkinana ete tuhu ahasata. Naya. Naya.
Wonderful, I felt that.
As you guys were talking, I was just like intervening, just like a line.
Mhm.
I just have to let it flow.
Yes, please. And let's talk about that because there have been many questions from people who are just awakening to what the spiritual gifts are. And I feel that the light language is a spiritual gift.
It's a divine connection to our soul self, our God self. It's the language. When I first started speaking it, my team that guides me calls it the language of love, and said it's the one language that we all can speak. Every single person can speak it. When you're in divine alignment with who you are, and you've released enough of the old programs and the patterns, everything that's coming out through your transformation, it allows you this space, and it allows you to let go of the conditioning that the only language is the language that you learned here on the earth, so that you can allow the divine flow to actually work through you. So it's your higher self actually speaking through you. And some people call it the language of the angels, the language of masters. There's all kinds of things. I know it's as the language of light. I see it come in as sacred geometry, and it comes in through a tunnel into the third eye. And then for me, I can see it from the tunnel coming in. Then I see it like go onto a board. Sometimes it's spinning into a circle. Sometimes it's different. And then for me, I have the ability to speak all of these different languages to actually activate other people to speak it or utilize it for healing. But it goes through, just so everyone knows, I want them to understand, when you feel the vibration from light language that comes in, it goes through the DNA at the cellular level to activate you. So you will still feel the vibrations in the body. If you're open enough, you're going to feel that. In what I've seen and what I've been shown to understand it is it activates suppressed or dormant codes within you that are within the cellular structure. So they show me like a cell, and the cell has like a shield over it that when the light language comes in, it like breaks it open, it breaks it free. So you have this transformation. I see that it's energy coming up, gray or dark energy has to come up to allow that light that's in your cell to activate. And that's part of that transformation process. So when you're speaking it, or when you feel it having to come in, make sure you would feel it from the heart, because it always comes in and it's transferred from sacred heart to sacred heart. We send it out, we receive it in that way. If it doesn't feel like it's coming from there, don't say it, don't connect with it, because there are, other kind of energies that will want to speak through it. And if you, as long as you're connected to the divine heart, you will know whether to speak or not. There's so much that goes along with it, but it's for those just awakening, don't expect to speak it right away, because you do have to go through parts of the transformational process to release so much of the old programs that you've been holding on to create the space to allow yourself to become who you are. And that's part of your becoming.
And it's allowing, just allowing your mind to open up enough that you see that it's possible.
And everyone can speak it. That's one of the first things that my team said is every single soul can speak this language. And yours won't sound the same as mine. His doesn't sound the same as mine. We all have our own, what I call mother tongue. So everybody speaks their own. I've spoken probably 60 different ones so far, only because the people I'm working with clients everyone has a different language that they recognize and they feel it at that soul level. And that's what activates them.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Yes. You mentioned your team.
Mm-hmm.
Is that spirit guides, angels?
Yeah.
All of the above?
Yeah, well, I see, it's funny because we have angels that help us, but our team, what they showed me is this collective of ourself. So we have the other aspects of ourself helping us through these levels in this process as we're embodying all that we are and all that we've ever been in highest benevolent love levels. We're creating the best version of ourselves in this life from those lifetimes. So as they're helping us, we're also embodying it at the same time. That's what I refer to as my team. I also have masters that help me. I've got the angelics that help. I've got the goddess energy. I have so many psychics that when they see me, they're like, you've got a slew of people behind you. And I'm always like, I know, right, William? They just say it. They're like, you have got so many people. And that's like an extension of the team as well.
Right.
And so they will step up, whoever wants to come up and help and, collectively to collaborate. We're doing it at so many multidimensional levels.
Mhm.
And it's fun.
It is fun. Yes, I get that.
Yeah.
And I get that same comment of what's behind me. And I'm like, yeah, I know they're there.
Yeah, lots of
I
them.
just, wow.
Lots of them are there. Yeah.
So William, let's talk about your experience and
Yes.
opening up to the light language.
That was in 2005, I believe. And in the Netherlands, there were a few people already that I knew that spoke the language. Also one personality, but he was not really sharing that yet. Only when you were already in a certain consciousness. Because especially in that time when the earth was still, and that's not so long ago, in a lower vibration, because we are really speeding up very quick. Not everybody was ready to receive that. And also when the light language was spoken, more light came into the dense physical bodies. So some shadows from themselves, they were also released in that moment. So it takes a little bit care, indeed, as Keleena has said, speaks from the heart. So it's also with love. I have experienced one time that I spoke with, because it's love and light. Okay, so the light language is love and light. When love and light comes into your system, something that has lack of love and light in your system, like a shadow, okay, it will be triggered and activated. So you can then speak the light language with that emotion. Okay, so it has a certain power then in that moment connected to that emotion. And then it's a personal disbalance emotion, and that goes also in the field. Now, at this time where we are now, we don't have to worry because it's being reflected very strong immediately, because we went completely down and now we're going up again. So that's our protective field, the shield that we have. You could say that the ego in itself has a protective energy, so that the reflection of that from the personality is very dense and will come back to you because of the vibration now. And we are going higher because we are from low to high. Okay, then the light moves quicker, the time goes quicker, so the manifestations are coming quicker back. Yeah, and if you go lower, then it takes a while. And that's actually a protective mechanism from creation itself. So, so I've experienced that it can be very powerful also in interaction with somebody else. So, Metatron at that time, said that it's very important to speak that from the heart, so that you're in the law vibration, and also they do not allow it anymore, so that you can speak it in that way, only for a little bit of self-reflection for yourself. Not really, you're not going to harm anybody anymore, because that's done. In the old days, when we went from high to low, that was different. So now for people to stand back in their power of light, that can be a step. People are, especially the light workers, and have experienced a lot, and now to get back in their power, and they have a memory of the misuse of the freedom that we had. We feel that in our subconsciousness, and to embrace that, that's a step of the healing and becoming whole again. to embrace your wholeness that you already are. That's indeed your soul. And your soul is of light, and that's where the light language is. So yeah, in that time I slowly grew into it, and my light language comes direct from source, or from Christ, of Michael, Melchizedek. That's in Metatron to the Yanya. It's like the same consciousness as one, and in that way, the origin of all the light language comes from source itself. It's a language of all, and that's why even the stones, the animals, they all actually feel and understand that language. So yeah, everybody can speak it, but in creation itself, okay, you have to open yourself up for your own soul, and some people are just going to receive that as a light body, and other people, they came down and they only have to learn. So there's still a different way of how you're going to receive the light language. Step by step, always that will be guided by inner being, and to surrender to that and to accept that, to align yourself and to allow. It's love and compassion is very important with the light language. So yeah, you can feel the light language, you can hear the light language. I can even better hear light language than like when they speak to me in my own language. For me, that's a protection also, so that I cannot get in between with my own thoughts of what it should be, the light language. So I speak directly the light language, and in that way it's pure, so I cannot create something from another emotion. And it's only needed to activate, to amplify indeed the DNA. Scientifically, we see literally that the light language is lighting up the DNA, as Keleena talked about. And yeah, that's beautiful. So we are enlightening the world in that way. Yeah. So yeah, it brought me, the light language itself, that experience brought me a lot. Until I one time in my life became completely one with my light body, with Christ. And that was an amazing experience. Yeah. It's, everybody will once in their life will experience that truly are. That's amazing. Yeah.
Beautiful. Such beautiful stories from both of you. And how did you two come to be together? Because you're from the States and you're from the Netherlands originally. What was that connection that brought you two together?
Wow, I sketched William in 2014 intuitively. Higher self sketched him, didn't know him. And then in 2017, this painting was coming through, like all my paintings, like behind you, thousands of Gaia and stuff, they're intuitive, they just come through. So I don't ever know what they're going to be. There's a painting of William hanging in the other room.
You want to get it?
You have to go there. I go around the back. But I started painting in 2017. And then in 2019, he was friending me, I guess, for 18 months on Facebook. We didn't know each other in the earth plane, but we know each other outside of this dimension. So, yeah, you have to pull your hair back a little more, wouldn't you? I don't know if they'll be able to see it with the light coming through. Because I can't see the screen. Can you see it? Or is the light coming through? Let's see. Okay.
The little man with Facebook.
Keep my face next to it.
Yeah, just pull your hair back a little bit, maybe, on the sides. Okay. So I painted him intuitively with the colors of brown and gold and blue. Those were the main colors coming through.
And look at the blue eyes.
Yeah, and when you look at the eyes up close, you even see like his, you can even see his like wrinkle when he smiles, his wrinkles, they're on here, like everything. The lips just came out, just nothing. I didn't know who this was. I was like, okay.
My nose is a bit bigger.
Well, and it's also not done, remember? This isn't done because I'm not allowed to sign my paintings until they're complete. So when I complete a part of the journey or an experience with someone, whenever I finish the painting, and then I'm allowed to sign it. But also, if you put your hands in the front of it, So I'm turning it around for you. You can put your hands in the front because everything that I paint has codes underneath it. See what you feel.
Oh, powerful when I get right here. Yeah, it's like I'm hearing numbers.
En dan heel light language.
Ja.
Tu por da atan tishin, nakati shihan nur, taka ata, tishin naka nur, da tishishi da ata, in. Golden light is coming down.
Chills.
And chills here.
Codes down here,
Mhm.
very much down here. And I see the codes.
Yeah,
They're
and
popping out. I see them.
because the Archangel Michael energy is truth and justice, and that's the throat chakra. So you're feeling that there.
Yes.
Also seeing with the eyes of the heart.
Oh,
Okay, you're feeling that stuff up here. It's all coded before I paint. There's, you probably can't see it, but they're all underneath. There's all light language.
Right.
And then it comes through in all my paintings. But so I painted him and drew him, and then he had been trying to friend me on Facebook. He said for 18 months, and it was the third time he was trying. And he said, well, third time's a charm. If this doesn't, work, it's not meant to be. And I just happened to clear 250 people off my friend request so I could open people to bring new one in that actually need the help that I put out there for free. He was the last 250th person I picked. I saw his picture.
It was meant to be.
Yeah, I was like, well, he's got a good energy, but he was in like a yoga position. I really couldn't see him. But as soon as I accepted his friend request, he bing messaged me, why now? So yeah.
Yeah, that was the first response. And
it's went from there.
for me, in that moment, it's the difference between the feminine and the masculine. Like the feminine, like the Buddha said, like only the masculine can reach enlightenment, and that's related to your own thought forms. So in that reflection in our reality now, Keleena was always, because the feminine energy is always the infinite, so it source itself. In that way, the feminine does not have to reach enlightenment because it's already enlightened, it's infinite. And related to that, you can project a lot of enlightenment on it as a human being. So if you're a man or woman, doesn't matter, your own feminine is your feelings, is infinite, but your thoughts, they come and go, so they are limited. So in this way, that serves for me to my beloved, okay, that was always outside of myself, in interaction with other ladies of my life. The questions, why have I this kind of interaction with ladies, or why I have not? But for Keleena, I was always with her. So that's exactly the other way around.
Yes, they felt him my whole life.
Yeah. So I had some intense relationships in my life, also with names. And one of my exes, she left me, or we were separated. She came with a man, what is almost a similar name as the last name of Keleena. So I saw her face on Facebook with that last name. I was like, what? Now there's synchronicity in my life. So in that time, I was just in an interaction also with another lady who reflected me things of my past, and another lady who had the message from Jesus, from Joshua, like, choose for the light. And in that time, I wanted to choose for the lady, and she had also a particular name. And but it was not my path to go there because I was rejected again. That rejection was very important for me to go within every time. If you search love outside of yourself and there's a shadow within you where you need to bring love and light towards, you will be rejected on the outside, so that you go back inside to heal that. And that's in the unity as a twin ray, twin flame, or twin soul. It depends how you use that concept, how you look at it. So. And then I asked her, first time, no response. Second time, a few months later, no response. So the third time, she responded, And then I said, like, why now, you know? And because it's also, it was more in unity why that happened. So, suddenly after a while, she said a real name, earthly name in that way, and it was the same name as the lady has, who rejected me. So everything was perfect. Yeah. Everything
The
was,
other one had my first name, one had my last name. There was a secret.
yeah. I'm not going to deeper into that.
Yeah,
because
right.
that's it's a bit personal, but yeah, the synchronicity was amazing, and a lot of feelings came. But what happened to me in that moment when Keleena told her real name, that was the same as the other lady. I realized completely, and I was already conscious of that. But now you have to have the experience in your conscience to really embody that. So in that moment, everything was for me a reflection. I became completely zero in the field of the void. And for me, the only love in that moment that was left was spirit itself. It was love itself. And to embody that love is still going on because of, again, to allow completely your soul to incarnate in your physical body, that's the complete total enlightenment. You can be enlightened mentally and you have different forms of that, but to have a total enlightenment, then you are completely light body in this reality. I've been there once in my life, but to really say that you're completely enlightened, then people will see and feel that in that way. So yeah, we started from that moment, we started to communicate, and then I knew that I like Jesus or Yeshua, higher self, communicate like choose for the light. I knew, okay, this is the choice that I have to make. And for me, that choice in the beginning was not easy because still my ego was pulling on my 3D stuff that I still had to let go of. So, but I knew from my heart and my knowing, and not my direct intuition within myself, because I'm still opening up. The biggest initiation is trust the path from your knowing and your heart to make that choice. So I did that, and I let everything go. I went to the States, and the masters communicated with Keleena, bring him in, and bring him to Melchizedek and everything. So the door opened up for me. I was in that moment in time a mailman. I was walking around, so in a way, I was making circles, and all the names from my past, they came in the mailbox, even from my grandparents. So that was amazing, and I can tell and share more about that, how that ended. But it's a lot to share, how my journey went, and actually not an easy one. I had to let go of a lot, even my own son in that way. That's all perfect in alignment on the soul level. But as a human being, of course, it's painful, it hurts, and yeah, that's how it goes. And even that synchronicity, because Keleena has a daughter. My son's name is Kai, and the daughter's name of Keleena is Kylie. So, you know, it comes back, everything comes back. That's also how the atom works, or the God particle. It's like this movement of the, how you say that, not a donut, but.
But I also have a son that's the same age as your son.
Yes.
So, you know, a lot of synchronicities in his.
And
He
reflection.
got all his.
The Taurus, that's
Yeah,
what.
he got all his through different people moving him forward through the synchronicities to find me. And mine came through art and feeling him my entire life since I was 15 years old, wrapping his like wings around me in bed and holding me every night, my whole life. I had felt him my whole life, engaged with him in different dimensions, in different ways in the life streams. The oneness. You even feel sexual energy, everything. It's like you're feeling in this human level, what you're portraying out in another dimension, or you're bringing it all in. So I always felt him my whole life. And then when he's here, I don't have that because he's here, but because of his visa, when he has to leave, same thing comes back. I feel him, I feel that strength, I feel the same energy from when I was a young girl. So I know it's him. It's like, I know energy. You don't, everybody's energy is different, but I know his energy. I've been experiencing it for so long.
Yeah, the reflection to the oneness with your own higher being, higher self, that way where Keleena always felt me. For me, that was with names in a reflective mode. So our higher selves of Keleena and me, that was also in the beginning. Keleena said to me, oh, an interesting middle name, and that was in that time Sononanada. There's a unification of Nada and Sananda within me as our higher self. That's something that I have realized in that way, and also in the secret text. There was a question mark of one Kumara that was called Sananda Nada. You can find it on the internet. So it was really mysterious how it all went, and so I had to let myself guide by Lady Nada as the higher self of Keleena. And Sananda is my higher self. And that's how that went, how we connected. From that time on, we're still busy from the integration of the twin ray. And that is every time different, because when you go somewhere, you pick up energies, and then your heart is getting full of those energies of low vibration, and you have to clear yourself again to reconnect again. It's like a day job for the light workers, and especially in this vibration. That doesn't mean that you are not that light master or that true connection that you have, but it's just to be here on this plane, in this vibration. And both of us, we know that we both of us have reached enlightenment and mastery in other lives. So now we are here to help the planet, and everybody who is has fractals or is incarnated as a light master, because there are many more, they go down to this vibration of reality. And they go up. Yeah.
So I immediately, as soon as I met you online, not in person,
Okay.
I immediately saw Jesus energy.
Ja,
Along with Archangel Michael. And it was almost like a combination energy, because I could see that surrounding you, I could see the aura, I could see that reflection in you. And with you, I definitely, the first time I ever met you, I was just awestruck. It was just this beautiful energy. And you were Mary Magdalene, you were Isis, you were that goddess. It was just so beautiful.
Lots of those lives.
Yes.
I have a lot of those lives.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
But a lot of us have.
So experiencing the two of you together in the physical, oh my gosh, it's just so powerful. And I love your explanation, William, that, we come here as the light workers who have done this so many times. We've reached that place of knowing this is now our mission. This is our purpose for being here at this time, is to assist and whatever that looks like. So what does that look like for the two of you? I know you do work in combination together, but you each also have your services that you provide to people.
Right. We, even though you're here to work together in oneness, we both have our individuality that we came in here to represent in our God beingness. We both do sessions, healing sessions, and we do them differently. And my approach is differently. I have a lot of the modalities that I've done in the past lifetimes already awakened since I was a child. I've been always awake. And my hands used to sweat as a child so much, so profusely, get so hot.
Resonate with that.
Yes, nobody wanted to be my dance partner in school. They were like, so we both have different healing modalities, but we have some of the same as well. And for years I have on my YouTube, I've got 5 or 6 years, and it's still going on, of healing videos, transformation videos, helping teach what's going on, also light language activations for your healing, opening up modalities. So I just do a lot. We also do work on the earth. I've done for years work on the earth, going in, cleaning up places, and then activating sacred sites. That's one of the reasons I came back. And then when I met William, the team was like, okay, bring him in. He's going to start doing it with you. So we do it together in collaboration in the balance of the feminine and masculine. But I do a lot of galactic shamanic work, and just bringing in the Magdalene codes, bringing in the Isis stuff, all of the different timelines that we've accumulated this wealth of knowledge, and our modalities that are of the highest benevolent source of that love light. That's what's coming into us, creating this best version of ourselves in this lifetime. So whatever it is we've done in those different lines, we're bringing it on now, and we're doing it now. Like I said, the YouTube, I have the YouTube on Facebook, whatever, free stuff. It's just always free to help people to help every step of the way through this process. So we give back what we receive. I mean, we also have our paid things too, but there's a lot that we give and just put out there to help the collective transform themselves.
Trust in the flow of spirit of God that goes to the people. So in that way, there's never ever lack, because abundance in itself means it comes from a beautiful brother of mine, like Bashar. Like abundance is that you have what you need to have to do what you need to do. The same with knowingness is you will know what you need to know what you need to know. And that's trust. So your foundation in life is trusting that. And the work related to me, my whole life, and that's for everybody, is actually transforming the DNA. You have your physical DNA and your spiritual DNA. So the spiritual DNA is actually more programmed than the physical DNA. So in my life, I embodied different personalities from the old times, and I transformed them through transforming myself, my own consciousness. So at the moment that you're on a planet and you take this responsibility to carry your personality in your being, and a lot of light workers do it differently. That's why you have a lot of people and women who think that they are Isis, Mary Magdalene, and everybody is a piece of the puzzle. Because especially if you go to the old days, there has been a lot of karma developed. And if everybody takes a piece of that, depends how much it is. And that's why you have that recognition and also sometimes confusion if you identify yourself as the one, but there are more personalities. Why is that happening? Because not one of them in that way is the absolute one. Because when source itself, or spirit itself, starts creating, and actually that's no beginning because that always has been, immediately there are three. So you already have another discussion, but you have to communicate with each other from the heart to make a certain decision. Actually, you don't need to do that because the spirit within the Trinity is the one who really is doing everything. And that's also how we are being guided. We've been to Scotland, Iona, we did light work over there. We still have some areas to go, Mount Shasta. So in a very short time, we did a lot of light work in that way.
England,
the Netherlands,
Manchester, Glastonbury. They've taken us everywhere.
Curacao was a beautiful experience. In the morning, Keleena receives a song. And
yes.
there was,
I received songs from messages.
it
was Kokomo, that was the song.
Yeah.
And I was like, I haven't heard this in like years. Why are they giving this Kokomo song? How does it go? About something of Kokomo. I think it's Beachwell's song.
Yeah.
I'm like, why am I getting this over and over? I'm like, William, can you look it up on Google it and see what they're giving us for? Maybe it's another island we need to go to do activations at or whatever. So he looks it up and he goes, it's on Curacao. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then the downloads started coming in and I'm like, we have to go. We had something we needed to do.
Yeah.
And so we're like, okay, we put everything down because when they tell us we have to do something, we go. We're driving to this beach, not knowing what's going to happen. And then all of a sudden I get another download that says it's about the water. It's connection to the water and the ocean there. So
Atlantis,
we get
Poseidon, and all the beings in the water.
Yes, so we're driving and the energy mother was asking us to go in to perform a sacred ceremony in the water because something was going on there that she didn't like. And so he started speaking light language in the car. He was just coming through.
For me, the thing was in that moment, I'm from the Netherlands.
Right.
So if you then go to the Caribbean islands, especially Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao, ABC Islands, the Netherlands have done a lot of work there. So when I was there for the first time, I saw oil platforms in the sea, or big ships. And for me, that's not a pretty view. And I'm like, I felt like, I'm a Dutchman, I felt responsible for that in the end. So I had to carry that emotion and that feeling also to transform.
Oh yeah, because that actual company was from the Netherlands.
Yes, well, not anymore because it has been sold, but if you go to...
Let me finish with this because this is really important. you get up to the Kokomo Gate. Now, this beach is gated so high, you can't see the gate, or the ocean. The gate is so high, it's like 30 feet tall, that all the way from like a cliffside to cliffside. And they have one big door open, you have to pay to get in. So we paid to get in, and we're like, oh, it's beautiful. We go out there, you have to actually pay to sit on chairs there. So we got some chairs and we're sitting there, we're looking around, we're gonna go swim, we're out there, we're in the water, we go out to do this, don't see anything. And we're like, what is wrong? Until you get far enough out, and I was like, oh, and he turns like, oh. Oil rig, oil platform right there.
Right, yes.
So we faced each other, the download came in, and we started doing what we needed to do. And when we were done, finished, it was like, this is complete. And, you know, we spent the day there and we had a great time. The next day, he gets up and he gets a message from his friend who actually lives on the island that says, we don't know what's happened, but this hasn't happened and it's 9 years. The fire and the...
He's there now for 9 years on the diamond. He's a guide, also a brother of light of mine. Also, he carries a lot of Saint Germain energy. Also, that will happen in synchronicity with our meeting, but he stayed there. And there is an area when you drive to the Kokomo beach, you see the industry. Yeah, and they have like big pipes. I don't know the English, but
fire.
Yeah, but then you have the flames above those pipes. And there's a main flame that hasn't been out for 9 years. The day after we did that activation, it was on a Monday, he said, I don't know what you did, but the flame is out.
People were panicking.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't get the flame back on, and that's their only means of life there. That's their modality there. That's their means.
Okay.
Is that oil? Well, that one oil company was people either work there or they work in a grocery store or something else. So we were just like, oops, we don't know either.
Isn't it strange?
But when you trust what's coming through and do what you have to do, you know, it had to happen for a reason.
Right.
So we don't know what exactly transformed, but that was a sign to us that what we did happened.
Yeah, and it's also, it happens in the field. So the Galactic Federation, or you could say God, you know, God's I see in that way everything, sees exactly what's going on from above. And so that's why we are in tune and listen, then we are on a mission. And it's nice that you are getting the acknowledgement, because that's what it's all about, that what the work that you're doing is, how do you say that, is fruition or bears fruit.
Yeah,
you
it
know?
comes to fruition.
Yeah, exactly. So, and those are many things that Keleena and I have done, also especially in Scotland. Within the synchronicities, she had like a bouquet. She had a message that she had to bring a bouquet. We didn't know
to
why.
the
Rosalind Chapel.
Rosalind Chapel.
Yeah. So we brought we did like a cosmic marriage in an activation below the chapel, and a lot of things around happened, and that was magical. So I had always something with the numbers. The first time that actually a lady in my life, and I met her when I was very young, and she carries a similar name as Lady Nada, and she told me once that her lucky numbers were 3, 4, and 7. The next day, I received on the internet of also a spiritual brother in the Netherlands. He did sacred geometry, and he was explaining those codes of those numbers, 3, 4, 7. It's related to the Mayas. 3 and 4 is feminine and masculine, together that's the 7, it's sacred marriage. So the number, and after that, connected to Lady Nana, followed me a lot. So that came back so many times. So when we were at the Rosalind Chapel, there were rings, these rings, and they were connected to Outlander, it's a series. And that happens in 1743 or 1734.
1347, I don't know.
So I saw those numbers, and I was, those rings, we need to buy these rings, and so that was all in perfect alignment.
Yes.
And this is our connection of our higher marriage.
But also when you add up my birthday, it comes to the number 34, and then when you take it down to the single digit, that's 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're receiving a lot of messages, and as a personality, as an ego, you may say so, because ego is Latin for personality. So that's not always bad in that way. Surrendering to your higher heart, surrendering to the synchronicities, even if you do not know what it is exactly, that's like a masculine thing, you have to respond on what spirit is showing you, that's how it is for me, and then trust blindly just to follow that. And along the path, the higher spirit is giving you hints or through other people, because I have a lot of other people who are mediums who help me and guide me. Sometimes I was even judging myself that I was like, hey, I'm this being, I should know everything, and that's not the case. So you're getting humble because other people are helping you. They reach out their hand, and you feel alone and abandoned in that way. Father, why have you abandoned me? So then you're going to surrender more to the Spirit of God, command my spirit into your hands, Father, in the meaning of that. So then you see spirit in other beings and other humans working through them to help you, even if they are not aware of that. And for me as a masculine, that's actually still happening, not completely done. And I still have a little part to do. Doing that. So yeah, it's a magical journey how we met, and it's a synchronicity.
I don't know.
Well, we have a question. Let's get to the question. Oh, wait a second. Sorry. Can we do the question?
Yeah.
So it's from Jean, and she says, what you have said is very interesting. Is light language a language that those on the spiritual path should understand? I love light language, but to say I understand it, I don't. The same goes for the sacred geometry. It comes to me, I feel its effect, but I really don't understand what it means.
You don't have to.
Okay. Your soul actually understands it. It's understood at soul level. That's why I said it's transferred from sacred heart to sacred heart. Your soul inner being receives the divine codes, and it activates within you at that cellular level. So you don't have to understand it or try and translate it into English to understand it. Sometimes, however, you will have a guide come in and say, this is what it means, or just give you a couple words. And that will be enough to trigger you to understand what this message was about. But I speak so many of them that if I had to understand them all and understand everything coming in, I would overload. They said, Keleena, you will blow up. You don't need to understand, you just let it flow through, activate, flow through, or deliver it to your person you're working on healing with, through you into them. It's for them to receive at that soul level, at the cell level, that Christ consciousness level, because that Christ consciousness is within your cells, and that's what understands it.
Beautiful.
And the explanation of the reason why I'm saying you don't have to, because if you want to know what it is, it's also connected to part of control, that is connected to your negative side of your ego. And then you're in your mind. At the moment that you think, okay, I don't have to know, okay, then you're in the silence. And then when you're in silence, you can receive the message from an angel who's going to tell you what it is and what it means. So if you let go of I have to know, then you will be in peace, and then you will know.
You're going to feel it. You're going to feel it.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, Keleena has another commitment, so we're going to wrap this up.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the two of you. You're so beautiful.
I
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for
And
having us on.
how can people reach out to you?
My everything, my website, Facebook, YouTube is all Keleena Malnar. It's Keleena, because a lot of people use an A. And I'm on all the social platforms that like MeWe, Telegram, all that, and Patreon. So any of that stuff, you can find us.
Yes, and please check out her YouTube. I love the one you recently did with DNA activation through light language. That's powerful.
There's a lot. I'm not sure which one that is because they all have them.
Yeah, it was really recent. Yeah.
Okay, probably.
And I've shared that one to several
Oh,
people.
thank you.
And William?
Yeah, mine is williammelchizedek.com, also William Melchizedek Facebook. My Patreon is patreon.com, William Melchizedek. So there you can have interaction with me, with Q&A or mini sessions I do to help align people. And my YouTube, I got actually two. One is William Melchizedek.
That's the easy one.
That's the easy one, but I stopped with that one because of some technical reasons. So there's a gateway towards I am William Melchizedek.
Yeah, and I can put all of that in the comments for anyone who just wants to click the link and get to them. That's the easiest way. So thank you all for being here with us. Many, many blessings to all of you. I love you. And I end all of my shows with Namaste, y'all.
What's up? Namaste.
Bye, everybody. Have a blessed night.